And also, a new season of Alone started, the survivalist show.
I don't know what this is. Tell me about it.
Okay, so 10 contestants for the show are dropped off in remote areas of British Columbia. I think also maybe in Alaska. I'm not quite sure. I know there's been several seasons of it. I think maybe this
So
is
this is
season
not the
8 or
naked
9.
show then?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
So it's
This
not
is
the
like
drop them off naked and you got to survive show.
no,
This is a different show. Okay.
no. This is something totally different. And they have like 10 pieces or 10 items that they can take, like a tarp, a knife, a fishing line, whatever. And the last person standing who doesn't call in and quit, they get like $500,000. Yes. And so they stopped it because of COVID, like everything else got stopped. And so I was super excited. I went to my DVR the other day before I left on my vacation, and I saw that it had started up, and I was like, ah! So I watched one episode, and then I came home, and after Handmaid's Tale, I watched the second episode of Alone. So it's a survivalist thing. And I backpacked through Alaska, which was the stupidest thing I've ever done because I was not prepared. I'm not at all. Like,
you hung out with the bears?
I hung out with moose and bear.
Did that moose story from Breakthrough happen to you?
Well, yes and no. They crossed my path, but they did not sit on the car.
Okay. So
and they're huge.
There are some people who may not actually know what I was just asking you. Kris has a book called Breakthrough. It takes place in Alaska, and it has like somebody from out of town who is sent there to do some journalism, and she does not prepared. She's not prepared. And a moose puts its butt on the car, and the insurance company is not happy with her.
Yeah, so they're Martha and Tuffy were the names of the moose, and I actually have a picture of them, and so
Aww.
that kind of was that. Yeah, that's what I named them. I don't know what their real wild names are out in the wild. Who knows? But they were Martha and Tuffy to me, and they were walking around and walked right in front of the car, and the baby, which is the size of a freaking horse.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, look at the baby. And it comes closer and it's like, has to lean down to look into my car. And I'm like, so, but yeah, So anyway, yes, Breakthrough. Anyway, Alone. So I like the whole survivalist things, more so than just Survivor itself. I mean, this is like literally you're there alone with your thoughts and your skills, and that's it.
And a camera person.
No, the camera people aren't there.
They're not?
No, they literally drop you off with cameras. You have a GoPro, sure, like one you put on your head, and then you have 2 for camp, and one you're supposed to carry with you when you go do whatever you're doing. So yeah, there's nobody there. You have like a satellite phone that you call in when you quit. You're like, I'm done, whatever, and yeah.
That seems like one show that wouldn't necessarily have to have been canceled for COVID, because there was already social distancing built right into the premise.
But think about your stress level. If you were on a show like that, knowing that the world was just, you had no idea what the fate of the world was. I mean, I wouldn't want to be out in the middle of nowhere. I'd be close to my family. So,
well, I mean, I think that's got to be like a book or a show premise where you're doing a show like that and then a COVID happens, but nobody tells you.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Alone. We have the book Alone that EJ knows.
I started it and I was enjoying it and I stopped reading it.
And then life happened.
And then I never went back to it for no actual reason. I need to go back to it at some point. It caught so much love.
Yes, for sure.
And I think it won. Did it win a Goldie? It won something.
I'm sure it did. I'm trying to think. So that was 2020, right? I think it was in 2020 last year, maybe.
That book came out?
I can't remember. Maybe it was
pre. I think it was pre-pandemic. I could be wrong though. I don't know.
I think you're right. I think it was prior.
Yeah.
So, kind of like that. Except, so the character in that book, goes to do this. I'm not even quite sure what to call it. What is it? Experiment?
It was like a research study, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was like, and like the money was it was only like $100,000 or something. I was like, no, for $100,000, I'm gonna have to. I need more. I need people, so it's gonna have to be more.
Okay, so would you do the show alone? Would you do something like that where it's like, okay, $500,000, you're gonna go do this?
So I would do it, except I would suck at it. I would be out in 3 days, like
Yeah, see, I
maybe two
wouldn't bother.
days. So maybe 2 days. I mean, I think I'm like this great camper and survivalist. I mean, I hiked through Alaska for 2 weeks, and I thought,
Sure.
but I still didn't like kill things to eat it and to eat, and I didn't. The only thing I had with me, I had a knife and some bug spray, and that was about it. Oh, I did have bear spray, which was
Mhm.
ridiculous, and everybody said, no, you need a gun. You don't need bear spray. I'm like, I can't buy a gun. I'm only here for 2 weeks.
Can you borrow a gun in Alaska?
I know. Can I?
Somebody must have a gun that they can
Oh,
loan
I'm
you.
sure. So like everybody has guns and they all have an airplane. Like one of
Kathy.
those.
Kathy can tell us. Kathy,
Yes,
are you listening?
Kathy,
Kathy,
you
if you're
are listening.
listening,
You must tell us.
is it possible to rent guns in Alaska? Surely, as a resident of Alaska, she can tell us about all of
Right.
Alaska.
I know. And like all the dumb things I did while I was up there. Anyway, so I really, really like that show.
Mhm.
It's amazing. They come in like, I don't know if it's every 3 days or something. They have medics come in to check, and your weight has to
Mhm.
be a certain level and your fat has to be a certain level because
Oh, so if you're losing
yeah,
weight too quickly, they'll get you
right.
out of
They'll
there?
pull you. Yeah.
Okay.
So one person has already bowed out because they had like a heart attack years ago, and all
Jesus,
of a
why would
sudden,
you show up then?
right. So
No.
I think that was just kind of a puss way out. I think
Mhm.
I feel like, I mean, maybe he was having issues, but I mean, why would you go through all of that knowing you have a bad
Mm-mm.
heart? There's
Bad
no way.
choice.
Bad
No.
choice.
No.
So, but yeah, I would love to do it, but I would never survive.
No.
Like, no, I couldn't do it. So,
No.
so
No.